Let's get more on the economic situation and bring in a former presidential economic advisor. Barry Bosworth joins us from Washington, D.C., and Barry served under the Carter and Johnson administrations. Good to have you with us, Barry. When you hear the Fed Beige Book coming out with its assessment of the U.S. economy, saying that there's widespread signs of deceleration, what's your view on the U.S. recovery right now?
I think we're entering into a period of sort of stagnation. The recovery has definitely slowed down since April, and I think this report confirmed how widespread it is across the whole country.
And what about the Obama administration and their solutions to pick up the economy, such as tax cuts, $50 billion on infrastructure spending? Is this the right solution when basically we have the government in deficit? $1.5 trillion is a predicted fiscal deficit, a record high, really.
Well, I think that ideally, just from an economic point of view, yes, we would like to have more stimulus now to get this economy to pick up speed. But the difficulty here in Washington is that the other side does not believe that these measures are going to be temporary. So I think the political chances that they can agree to do anything on fiscal policy are slim and none.
Okay, so U.S. deficit tipped to reach a record of $1.5 trillion this year. If these fiscal policies will not work, what exactly can the U.S. economy and the government do right now? Are we going to see, maybe a decade of stagnation like what we saw in Japan?
Yes, I think the analogy to Japan in the 1990s is getting increasingly strong. I think monetary policy has basically done all it can do and of any major consequence. And as you say, the budget deficit, the size of it that we're already at, kind of overwhelms people. And I just don't think that there's a lot the government can do. So I think we're going into a period of playing a waiting game, hoping that the private economy cures some of its own problems. The government cannot do everything. And I think a lot of what's wrong in the private sector will take some time to fix.
Okay, so if that's the case, Barry, do you see Obama being able to stick around for a second term?
It's going to be a challenge for this president. I mean, in some respects, I feel sorry for him because this crisis did not occur on his watch. He's just inherited all the problems. I think everybody kind of underestimated the severity of the initial crisis, and then we're too optimistic about our ability to come out of it. This is very much the sort of experience they had in Japan in the 1990s. It just kept going on year after year. Growth was very sluggish, and I think the U.S. kind of looks like that. We got a lot of rebuilding and restructuring to do in the economy. People are trying to rebuild their balance sheets after all their losses.
Yep. Yeah. Barry, a pleasure to speak to you. Barry Bosworth of the Brookings Institution, a former economic advisor to Lyndon Johnson and Jimmy Carter.